Hey again everyone, and welcome back to the next car review, and I bring you the Italian Grand Tour from Ferrari. This is the Ferrari 575 Maranello, and it's one of my favorite Ferraris of all time and my first favorite Ferrari. This car is so underrated and it has a unique styling to it, and I love the Ferrari 575 Maranello. And this car has an F1 pedal shift transmission, a V12 engine, and this car is rock solid and has an amazing driving experience. So I said to myself, why not review this car? Because why not? Because nobody talks about this particular Ferrari anymore. We're so focused on modern Ferraris and modern cars that have more luxury and less fun factor, while this car doesn't get talked about that often. And I'm here to explain why this Ferrari is a really good, underrated, special machine. Let's dive right in. Today, I bring you my all-time favorite first Ferrari. This is the Ferrari Maranello 575, and it's one of the greatest front mid-engine Ferraris from the early mid-2000s. And I will explain everything you need to know about it. Here's why I think a 575 is a wonderful looking Ferrari and a good manual Ferrari. Now, my first impressions, I always thought this particular Ferrari looked beautiful and very distinctive, just because of the car's simplicity of the design. I thought this car looked cool when I was young, even as a child, in the color red. And because of this Ferrari, I have liked Ferrari since and was my first Ferrari to fall in love with. The 575M sounds amazing, looks good, and the look of the design is very subtle and unique, and just a daily normal looking Ferrari. It's very clean and simple, that it does not have very aggressive styling like most modern Ferraris with more compound lines with the most aggressive styling. I am definitely not saying that these days modern Ferraris look awful. I love modern Ferraris too, but sometimes you just have to go back in time to classic modern days of Ferrari and just take a look back at this Ferrari and say, hey, this car is really beautiful and underrated, that nobody talks about this car, and this car sounds really good. Unlike modern V12s that almost sound generic and the same in today's world. Meanwhile, this car has a unique soundtrack from the engine, and the 575 is an underrated manual Ferrari. That's what most people would say who love Ferraris, and that if you are interested going back in time and listening to some nostalgia of car sounds like this. So a quick overview of the Ferrari 575 Maranello. This car is basically an enhancement of the regular Ferrari Maranello, the 550 Maranello, that was released in 1996 to 2001 with the front engine V12 behind the front axle. The 550 marks Ferrari's Grand Tour return to the front engine layout, over 20 years after the Ferrari 365 GTB-4 Daytona had been replaced by the mid-engine Berlinetta Boxer in the 1970s. The Ferrari 575 came out in spring of 2002 with the M in the name that defines modify and feature minor styling change from the 550. Both cars look similar to each other and have many differences. The 575 was definitely improved from the regular Maranello, and it was in production from 2002 to 2006, and then it was replaced by the Ferrari 599 GTB in the first quarter in 2006. Ferrari produced 2,056 units of this 575 Maranello worldwide. The updates from the 550 to the 575, the 575 included a redesigned interior and substantial mechanical improvements, like the bigger brake disc, a larger displacement and more powerful of the engine, and improved weight distribution, refined aerodynamics, adaptive suspension, and the pedal shifter, which was the huge unique character for this car for the first time in the Ferrari V12. Also, the 575 number model refers to the total engine displacement, which means this car has a 5.7 liter naturally aspirated V12 that produces the output of 515 horsepower, and the car can rev up to 7,250 RPM. This car can go from 0 to 60 in just 4.2 seconds with an F1 gearbox, and it can reach to a top speed of 202 miles per hour, which is still almost just as quick as the newer Ferraris and most supercars today. The numbers were ahead of its time, even before Grand Tours went dual clutch and automatic after the 599 GTO, cars like the Ferrari 512 Berlinetta and the 812 Superfast. The 575 weighed about 3,800 pounds, which is heavier than its rival, the Corvette C606. The car has 434 pound-feet of torque and a 6-speed manual gearbox. The 575 is more powerful, faster, more agile, and engaging than a regular Maranello. The car is very well balanced and feels comfortable on the road with a very subtle sound system. When you step on the gas pedal of full throttle, it will take off really, and you will get the full quality of the engine noise even when the windows are shut. That's how loud this car is. Back when it was in production, Ferrari expected more than enough customers to purchase the car with an F1's gearbox than the other variant with the manual 6-speed. The F1 system automatically adjusts clutch engagement and throttle position to give the 575 the best possible standing start getaway. All the driver has to do is turn off the traction control, adjust the suspension in the sport mode, hold the brake, bring the revs to about 5,250 RPM and release the brake. Owners who didn't buy the F1 option 575 won't be able to enjoy computer control shifting, but benefit from the computer control suspension that's standard on the regular 575. The pedal shifters are a lot easier to use for anyone to drive it because the clutch is automatically engaged. Ferrari even provides a launch control system built into the transmission computer. Well, unfortunately, the United States version of the 575 is unavailable with the launch control system. Outside the United States, this system is enabled everywhere. The features that made the 575 so unique was all referred into its name because the boosted power of the engine with upgraded engine displacement from a 5.5 liter to 5.7 liter. So the 550 Maranello had a 5.5 and the 5.7 liter was in the 575 Maranello. However, let's dive right into the interior. So the 575 Maranello interior is not equipped with luxury parts. It just looked like a normal interior with sticky buttons. Well, it's a classic modern Ferrari at the end of the day. It has an AC unit with simple climate controls and 3 vents above it, and it doesn't have an infotainment screen. It does have a radio though, and the center console is almost plain. The car has 2 driving modes as well, only comfort and only sport. Comfort and sport mode. But one big thing to point out is that the car doesn't have a park mode, and even I never knew that and was quite amazed why Ferrari didn't implement a park mode for parking. Instead, you have to adjust the car to first gear and hold your feet on a brake. That is a missing feature from Ferrari, but at the end of the day, who really cares? It's a Ferrari. The steering wheel is almost plain except only 3 buttons on the left for the headlights and turn signals, and maybe the windshield wipers. And the gauge cluster are cool, and the center one has a yellow background like most other Ferraris you see. The seats are not high quality, but they're comfortable to sit in. Now let's dive right into the practicality. So the Ferrari 575 Maranello has a glove compartment too at the passenger side, and there is some storage behind the seats. So this car only has 2 seats and the trunk space isn't really that big at all, but it's average. It's fine for small items. It only contains 8.1 cubic feet of trunk space. That is all you get from this Ferrari. Now, the Ferrari 575 Maranello is one of the most beautiful Ferraris ever made from 2002. Despite being updated and better in every way, but kept a similar look as the 550 Maranello, I like both of them, and the Maranello is a seriously underrated Grand Tourer from Ferrari. This is one of my favorite Ferraris and always been my first favorite. The best comes with the effective appearances and also gives an amazing driving experience. It is reliable, comfortable, and very capable of handling and staying on the road. It is not too crazy fast like most modern Ferraris. Once you get behind the wheel, you will want to keep this car because it's not too rapid of a crazy Ferrari like the 812 Superfast. Just a regular mid-agile sports car with a V12 engine that's solid. Get the Ferrari 575 or the 550. The The car selection of the choice is all up to you. Back when this Maranello came out, this car had an amazing driving experience for the front V12 engine, and to this day this Ferrari is still good to look at. Even if you go back in time, this Ferrari should be looked at and be driven more, because it's more of a daily normal Ferrari, which means that you can drive this Ferrari every single day if you wanted to. Just remember that the trunk space is small, but we really didn't care because that's Ferrari. And they're not really meant for luxury, they're really meant for aiming for loads of fun factor and listening to the stunning sound from the exhaust while you drive, or while you stand on the side recording it passes by you. I love looking at this Ferrari 575 from every angle, and I like the 552. They both are very similar to each other, but they both have subtle differences. The difference that you can tell between the 550 and the 575 is that the 575's grille looks like it's serious, and the 550 looks like it's smiling. Also, both of the interiors are different. One of them has a solid interior, and the other one, you can get the 575M as a solid interior as well, but also you can get it as a tan color interior, which is the one that I like because it doesn't look boring like black interior. It's okay to have a black interior so the car doesn't get dirty inside, but the tan has more feel and styling, and it looks more cool than a regular black interior. But it's all up to you. And plus, the 550 has a manual stick shift, and the 575 has an F1 paddle stick shift, which means the 575 is more quicker with shift times than the regular Maranello. And the power is strong, and the engine displacement has been upgraded for the 575M. Now, an additional fact about this Ferrari 575M. So in 2005, Ferrari launched a convertible version of this car called the Ferrari Superamerica. Now, if you look at the name, it might sound like Superamerica, but since the car is Italian, it's going to pronounce and sound different. So it's pronounced Ferrari Superamerica. And me looking at this car, the convertible one looks even more attractive. And now that I look at this convertible machine, it makes me want to buy and drive a Ferrari Maranello now. The Superamerica was a higher tune version of the regular 575. So the engine was used in tune with the code name F133G. And the convertible version made more horsepower than the regular 575, about 533 horsepower. And it was the world's fastest convertible car, with the same top speed as the regular coupe version. And at the time, the Ferrari 575 Maranello rivaled against the Corvette C606, the Lamborghini Gallardo, the original, and the Porsche 911 997 Turbo from the mid-2000s. Okay, so let's jump inside of the Ferrari 575 Maranello and put the keys into the ignition and start the engine. This car sounds amazing. It has a different V12 sounding like Ferraris now that has generic sounds. Take a listen. This car sounds spectacular, very calm, and very subtle. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this car review. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment and give me any car suggestions that you want me to review next. Otherwise, I got some ideas. See you guys next time, and have a safe day. Peace.